You all decide to meet up pretty early on in the morning. Owen wants to make sure that after that night at the pub that she's doing okay. And Owen is an early riser as well. You decide to meet up a little bit on the outskirts of town because that's where Anna Bevin's house is, the family Bevin home is. You don't know the Bevin family that well. You know them, you've seen them before, but the Bevins moved to Halkyn just a few years after the war began. But they quickly became a part of the community, so that's why you know them despite not having known them for very long. The house is small, on the smaller side. By no means is it poor, but it's not the biggest house, especially for a family of 4. You can only see it very faintly from where you're standing. So what are you going to do?
Well, nice to see you up bright and early, Byrne. I always thought you were a bit of a late riser these days.
Well, it was a good night last night. The inn was heaving.
Oh, that it was. Well, I ended up having to go home. Of course, quite early on. I think it took it out of Esther a little. She still wasn't right this morning. I had to make her breakfast. You know, I suppose what you expect when you come back from, well, overseas. Maybe a little too much. But, well, here we are now. I'm pleased to see all of you made it, to be honest. I wasn't sure that you would.
I stifle a little yawn, as I am rather tired. I'd kind of been hoping to have a bit of a sleep in, after all, the war's over and all that, but no. Here I am up early again, but I nod to Owen. I do look around for a moment and then say, although, wasn't Carwyn supposed to be here? I hope he's not running late.
Oh, yes, you're right.
That he was. I wasn't there. I didn't stay so late. Perhaps you saw if he went home with someone else.
Just off the distance, you can hear the sound of a gravel road and short legs just churning dust as fast as they can.
Come on, boyo. We don't want to be late. We got an appointment to keep.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I slept. I overslept. I'm sorry. Sorry. Good you're here.
I purse my lips and I just stand there looking at him, but giving you a nod.
Is he sober?
Yes. I don't get so much of a hangover these days, and now, from last night, I hardly feel anything. It's too much of a bulk on my body for things to cause trouble. I don't drink every day. It was tough yesterday, but today I've been up fairly early. I shopped groceries because the kitchen was empty, and I made myself a proper breakfast, and I shaved and made myself look nice. I was about to even iron my shirt, and I realized that I would be late if I did, so I took the one from the wardrobe that I hadn't used in a while, and I came down.
Okay, and you're all standing outside. See the house in the distance. What's your plan?
Well, perhaps, Father Owen, you should be the one to knock on the door? I mean, I'm not really sure how we're all supposed to do this. It's a little strange. John insisted on all 4 of us, really.
Well, not that strange, it's a community. Well, let's just see how we go. And I open the front gate, I walk up the front path, have a bit of an admire of the garden, and give a knock on the door.
We all saw Anna yesterday. It's not such a weird thing if we ask her. She acted a bit strangely, and here we are, trying to get back into the community.
Well, yes, but... Well, I kind of peter off a little. I want to say something along the lines of sometimes people in grief don't want to see this many people, but Byrne and Owen know better than me, so I'll just shut up and follow.
As you approach the house, there's something strange about it. It almost looks a little bit abandoned. Like, surely no one can live here. Or when you took a little time to look at the garden, there isn't much to admire, at least not anymore. It used to look pretty decent. It wasn't a family that used a lot of time in the garden and took a lot of pride in their garden, but now it's just overgrown. Another thing, all of the blackout curtains have been drawn. There's no way you can look into the house. No one opens the door when you knock.
I turn around and furrowed my brows. This might sound like a strange question, lads, but have you noticed there's a lot of people keep the blackout blinds up around here? It's something I noticed as soon as I got home. You know, we passed through Portsmouth, where we docked, and came up country towards Wales, obviously, and everywhere you went, places were returning to normal, but just seeing the blackout blinds up around here like they never left the war. It's just a strange thing. Have you noticed it?
Well, I know my mom's been keeping them up, but I thought that was just out of an abundance of caution. Or maybe something for my brother. I didn't realize it was the whole town.
Well, I don't know if it's the whole town. I just noticed it a few places here and there. My house, when I passed yours on my bicycle this morning when I was coming here. Just thought it was a bit strange, that was all. And now this house as well.
As you're all standing there, you suddenly notice the smell. It's not a pleasant one. It is a smell you have a hard time putting your finger on, but it is unpleasant to say the least. Why don't you all make an idea roll? So it's a percentile die, and it has to be at your intelligence or below to be successful.
I make that. 68 under 80.
45 under 60.
52 under 75.
And 40 under 90.
So you all succeed. You all recognize the smell as being the smell of rot and death and decay. The sweet, almost vomit-inducing old blood smell. Oh, and this is the same smell that you smelled when you were in the sleeping chambers in Dachau. This was where people died in their sleep and were just, at the very end of the war, just lie in bed for days, decaying because no one had the energy to actually remove the corpses. It's unpleasant, and it brings back memories that are traumatizing for some of you. Richard, you recognize the smell as well. This is the same smell as when you had to assist in surgeries on legs that were just rotten before you even began. Limbs that were practically falling off the bone. Yeah, this all hits you now. It hits you bad.
I take up a handkerchief from my pocket and I say, if you don't mind, I reach for the handle.
It does not budge. It is locked.
I do something that's become a bit of a ritual whenever I'm finding myself, my mind drifting back to Dachau and my part in the liberation of it, small as it was. I bring my knuckles up to the side of my head and I go, knock, 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 and shake my head. Jesus, There's got to be something dead in there, and not just one thing. Hasn't anyone been around? I'm gonna go around the house, see whether any of these blackout blinds have letting some light in. I mean, the smell must be coming from somewhere. There must be a window open and the wind just changed.
I simply nod, again recognizing the smell. If not for my experience with it, I probably would throw up right now, but luckily, I got that out of my system during the war. Still, it's not pleasant. I simply look a little pale and nod to Owen. Yes, maybe we should look around the back, and maybe, Bird, you could... I think maybe if you could get the door open, that would be a good idea.
If we can't get this door open, we're going to have to smash a window, because there's something is either dead or dying in there, and when I say something, I'm being optimistic. There's... Maybe she had pets and hasn't fed them, I don't know. Well, I suppose we'll find out soon enough.
I knock hard on the door. Anna? Anna, are you in there?
There's no reaction.
Come on, Carwin, you come with me around this side. Burn, you take the lad around the other side. We'll meet round the back, and if there's still nothing, we'll try the back door. Still can't get in, we're just gonna have to break a window. That's all there is to it.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there. Oh.
I keep knocking for a while, and I do go on for a bit, trying to call her name.
Alright, so are you all searching for a way to look into the house or get into the house? What are you doing exactly?
So I'm, let's say, taking the right-hand route around the house, and as I pass by windows, I'm looking to see whether any of them are ajar. The smell has got to be escaping from somewhere. If there aren't any that are open, I will continue doing my perimeter until I get to the back door. I am assuming there is one, and there'll probably be an outhouse. So, once I get to the back door, if no windows are open, we will just have to try that door instead.
Yes, I'll go round the left side of the house, and I'll be rapping on the windows, trying to get attention if I can.
Okay, I'll be following Owen, but I'll be putting a little more larcenous intent into getting the window open. Maybe really tugging at it, less concerned if it's locked. Maybe I can force the issue.
You want to try and force a window open?
If it seems amenable, if they're hard locked or nailed shut, I'm not going to make too much of a ruckus. But if they're only barely shut, or the latch isn't that secure and I could muscle it up, I'd give it a shot.
Okay, why don't you make a strength roll?
14 under 80. That is an extreme success.
You are all making an effort to try and look into the house, see if you can see anything through the blinds, see if you can get the back door open. It doesn't budge. Then suddenly you hear a loud crack. And you look back and you see that Colin is standing with his hands on a window that has just been ripped open. Almost as easily as nothing. Cowan, you even impressed yourself just now. This was incredibly easy for you, and you realize when you look at the lock at the window that you actually just ripped the lock off. Completely. But this is a short-lived success, since as soon as you open that window, you are hit with a smell that is unlike anything you've ever smelled before. It is revolting. So much so that I would actually like to make you a roll not to vomit.
99 over 75.
Well, what happens to Karen?
Wow, without being too graphic, there's a moment of excitement when the window comes open, and when you surprise yourself, your very first reaction is to go, aha! And sucking in that breath is the worst mistake he's ever made in his entire life, because it immediately fills his nasal cavity with this syrupy, it's tangible, like he can actually feel the weight of the scent in his nose and in the back of his mouth. So by the time the others catch up with the noise of the window cracking open, they find Carwin having, almost physically knocked back by this scent and stumbling backwards into the yard before falling on to all fours and voiding his breakfast into the yard.
seeing this sight, I just rush over to Karin just to make sure he's all right. I begin sort of patting his back, saying, "All right, Karin, okay, yes, get it out. Yes, it's my God, it's terrible. Ugh."
Just no way to speak back. There might be more left in him that he's trying to get out.
And I'm filled in my gut with terror suddenly, because this smell, it's like a smell of like a charnel house or something. What on earth has happened in this house? And I just sort of look at Owen and Byrne as they arrive with a look of great concern.
No wonder she was on the verge of passing out last night. If this is the way she's been living. Oh, Carwin, get your breath. Take a few paces away from the house, why don't you? And don't breathe in this rancid air. Byrne, do you think your stomach can handle that smell in there?
I stand still with my handkerchief over my nose. I've come around the house to join you, and I look in at the gaping hole that was the window. I assume the blackout curtain is still pulled down, so we can't see anything that is in there.
It is still pulled down, yeah.
Well, we can quickly change that, can't we? And I'm going to pull the curtains off or open, whatever is easy.
The curtain pulls off pretty easily. And in the beginning, it's a little difficult to see what exactly is going on inside of the house. The first thing you see is that all of the furniture has been stacked upon each other and moved to the sides, to the walls. So there's just a big open space on the floor. Or at least what would have been the floor. If it wasn't for the fact that the entire floor is covered in dead rat carcasses. It's not a matter of 10, it's not 20, it's not 100. It is thousands of dead rats in different stages of decay, stacked upon each other, almost to knee height. You see that there is a small root that has been made through the dead rats. That's all you can see from where you're standing. I would like you both to make a sanity roll.
I get a 69 under 70. I just succeed.
You just succeed, yep.
98 over 60.
Well, Owen, this is hard for you, but you've seen other types of death that is worse than that of rats, although this side is unreal to you. But Byrne, this is something else for you. You've never seen this before. This is just, it's not maybe as much the gore in it, it's more the fact that it's so unbelievable to you. So I would like you to make 1d3 and you retract that from your sanity.
3.
I rub Byrne's back. Come on now, Byrne. Come on now, Byrne. We saw worse than this. During the Great War, we saw this kind of thing. Well, kind of like this in the trenches. There were lots of rats there too. Maybe not that many. Christ, it's like a bed of rats.
As a contrast to what Karin did, I'm just standing there. You see my hand slowly lowering the handkerchief. I'm just standing there, staring, as you're rubbing my shoulder on my back. I'm just standing, staring in disbelief, as if I made a association with something completely different.
Come on, Byrne. I snap my fingers in your face.
Right, we'll need to find, if she's in there, she needs to be taken out of there. She must be in shock. Is there I start looking around for something to step on, an outdoor chair or anything to get in.
You can crawl in the window just fine. It's not a tall window.
Well, and I'm tall enough, I suppose. Yes, of course I went, of course. And I start lifting myself off the ground to get in there. Oh, this nightmare.
As you, Byrne, are making through the window, you have no choice but to jump right into this mushy, stinky mess of meat that is just rotting. As soon as your feet, touches the ground, because they eventually do, you can feel blood and goo and fluids making it through, first to your boots, then through your pants. It's warm, some of it still, and it's slowly creating a small pool in your boots that makes a little noise when you walk.
I try my best to ignore it. I want to just open the doors, get this place as aired out as possible if we're going to spend time in here. But as I move through this, I cry out still, Anna, are you in here?
I need you to make a strength roll in order to be able to make it through this mess as you walk around.
26 under 65.
Okay, well, Bernd, this is not a problem for you. You are determined to save this girl if she's in here. And true enough, you look around the room and your eyes are getting used to the darkness within it. And then you see a little corner at the very end of the room that has been rid of rats, just a tiny bit. And a pair of feet are sticking out. Someone is sitting there, looking at you. And it's Anna.
Anna, come. We must get you out of here. Come.
They know. The rats.
It's fine.
They know
It's
who
fine.
took him. The rats. They know. You don't understand. The rats. They know everything. They know who took him.
We will talk to the rats. Anna, listen, we will talk to the rats. We will find out who it was and where he is. But right now, you need to come out of here. Come here, Anna. Come. And I start making my way towards her and hold my hand out. I try to not be intimidating, but...
Anna doesn't resist your attempts of saving her, but you do see that Anna is not looking good. She's looking even worse than yesterday. She is covered in whatever bodily fluids these rats have excreted from their bodies. And she is pale. As soon as you touch her skin, she is completely cold. Her breathing is incredibly fast. Her eyes and her pupils are tiny, like pinheads. She's looking around like she doesn't even recognize that you're here, but she doesn't resist anything. If you pick her up or if you take her with her, she follows you. But she's not able to walk in here.
I do try to pick her up.
Well, you do make it out, or at least to the window, with Anna in your arms. Is anyone standing there?
I've run round to the front of the house to wait for the door to be open, so yes, as Bern comes out, I'll see Anna, and I'm going to put some gloves on, which I didn't think I'd even need, but I brought them just in case, and yes, I need to make sure she's alright. She looks terrible.
And I see you there, Richard, and I just give you a meaning look. Here. Come, let's have a look at you, make sure you're alright.
Alright, hello Anna, just sit down for a moment.
They know.
Yeah, that's fine. Just look at. Follow my finger. Can you follow my finger? Look, keep your eyes on the finger. And oh my goodness,
Be careful with the rats, they know. They'll come again. The rats.
I kind of fidget a little nervously. I did bring something with me, a little something which, just in case she needed some help sleeping. But I don't know if I should just administer it to her in this state, but maybe I have to. She seems completely out of it. I need to do something to calm her down, so I will. I'll take out the tablets and say, this is just something that will calm you down a little, okay? Just take one of these, Anna, come on.
She's not doing it. She's just talking, and your attempts of putting the pill into her mouth just makes her spit it out as she talks. The rats, I don't understand the rats. They know everything. They know who took him. They know who took him.
I look to Burn and I say, I can't. We can't treat her here. She's gonna need to go to my father's place. She could be suffering from any sort of malady, especially with the rats. This is terrible. You're gonna have to help me take her there, Burn. I don't think I can do it by myself. Father Owen! Father Owen!
I'm making my way through the house right now. I need to find out whether there's anyone else in here.
Okay, so Owen, you're in the house right now?
Yeah, I climbed in through the window after I saw Burn carrying Anna out toward the front door. I thought, she's clearly not in her right mind. If this place is carpeted with dead rats, who knows what else could be in here. So I'm going to do my best to hold my nerve and my stomach and open up all of the blackout blinds, try and get as much light in here as possible, open up the windows, and see if there's anything else. My worst fear is that she's had some kind of breakdown and her brother is in here in some state. But someone's got to find out, and I'm here, so that's what I will do.
You look through the house, and it is almost impossible to see what is up and what is down with this mass of rats in the floor. You don't find anyone else, but what you do see is these rats are not just rats. There's something wrong with them. You are by no means an animal expert, but you know that a rat is supposed to have 4 feet, not 5. You know that rats are supposed to have 2 eyes, not 5. These rats are mutated. These rats are not normal. In fact, now that you look at it, there's not a single rat in here that looks normal. Something is just slightly off with every single one of them.
Are they all mutated in the same way, or do they each bear different kinds of mutation? Like some have 5 legs, some have 3, that kind of thing.
Different kinds of mutation, all of them.
I knew it. I bloody said something like this was going on when I saw that rat last night. Is it a bungalow, or is there a second floor to this house?
It's a bungalow.
Okay.
You don't find anything else of interest in there if you're looking for people.
Well, the last thing I'm trying to find out, and again, by no means am I an expert, but I'm going to pick up one of these rats gingerly by the fur, one that doesn't look too decomposed. And I want to see if I can tell how it died. As in, is there any kind of penetrating or bludgeoning wound to it? Is there froth at its mouth that indicates it's been poisoned? I may not be an expert, but I know enough about rats as to how to kill them.
Right. Why don't you make an intelligence roll?
I failed by 5, so I roll an 80, my intelligence is 75. I will spend 5 luck to make it a success.
So, you can't really see anything on the outside of the rat. But when you pick it up, you've dealt with enough dead individuals to know that rigor mortis sets in pretty quickly after death, a couple of hours after it. You're pretty sure that this rat has been dead for more than that because parts of its eyes are missing and it's already going into decay. But when you feel it, it feels almost like jelly. It feels like its insides are water or pudding. It's very odd. The rat kind of flops down the sides of your hand as you're holding it. Even more so than a rat would if it was alive.
What on earth is this? Well, I suppose I'd better carry it out. I don't know if we've got a vet in town, but If we do, it's going to want to have a look at this, so I will lug the rat with me.
Okay. Cowan, what are you doing?
Slowly making my way back up to my feet after the worst olfactory experience of my life to this point. Having heard the commotion, I think my first instinct would be to actually come up to the window and see what's going on. I would imagine just in time to either see Owen beginning his examination of the rat or coming towards the window with it. This means I do see the rat banquet, I suppose.
Yes. So if you do that, you know what to do.
It's 82 over 40.
Okay, well, you make a 1d3 roll then.
That's 2. So my original intention would have been to ask Owen what was going on or to get my own bearings on the situation. Instead, I'm just standing mouth agape, jaw operating by reflex, trying to find words to describe what I'm seeing. And that's enough to make me queasy again. I think I'm gonna walk away from the window before things go awry.
Burn and Richard, you are still trying to, in some way, help Anna. You decided to bring her back to Richard's father, who is the doctor of the town. And as you're holding her, she suddenly starts to convulse violently. She almost shakes out of your arms. You have to hold her really tightly. She's convulsing. She's frothing around her mouth. Her eyes turn white as her pupils roll back into a skull. She stops talking. She stops saying that the rats know. She stops doing anything but just convulse.
Richard. I put her down on the floor. Something to keep her mouth open.
I take in a heavy breath. I'm panicking a little, but I try and center myself. After all, fine, I've done this before. So yes, I'm going to try and help her. Mainly using my skill in first aid. I did bring a first aid kit with me, but it's very basic, so I hope there's something in there that can help with this seizure.
Richard, you know that this is serious. Cramping like this is something that happens when there's something very, very, very wrong with a person. It can be anything. It's difficult for you to decide right now what it is, if it's a complete stress reaction, if there's some chemicals that has affected the brain, the chemistry in her body, if she has been through some sort of physical trauma to the head. There's just something that is not right. You know you can't do anything without certain types of medication. All you can do right now is to try to make sure that she doesn't choke on her own tongue. Put her into recovery position. That's what you've learned so far. So that's what you try to do. It's difficult because her entire body is stiff as a board. So it's difficult to, maneuver her to the side, but you manage to do it. But she still keeps cramping.
Yes, I look to Burn with some urgency and say, "Alright, Burn, you can see what I'm doing. You got to help me do it, and we just need to start running. I have no idea how much longer she'll be able to withhold the seizure."
Alright. Since I'm pretty skilled in first aid as well, I pick up, I'd like to say, quickly on what it is that he is trying to do and help out with that. But then I want to understand if he means to bring her along still or bring someone here.
I nod as you come over and say, we need to get her moving. You're a strong man, Mr. Byrne. I think you need to carry her.
Right. And I just kneel down and I lift her up, and again I try to hold her still so that she doesn't hurt herself. And of course I was trying to find something for her to bite down on so that she wouldn't bite her own tongue off.
Yeah. Well, you do find a stick, but it's impossible to put it behind or for her teeth because she's just clenching them. Owen, You see this happening too.
Okay, well, in that case, I will have dropped the rat outside the house. Are they... all I can do is try and... I'm going to try and speak to her. I'm going to try and get through to her. I'm not at all skilled in medicine, but I do have something of a way with words. So I'm going to say, Anna, if you can hear my voice... snap out of this, please. It's Reverend Owen. You know me. You know my voice. I need you to calm. I need you to calm now. And I'll hold her hand. You're safe. You're safe. You're out of the house. You're away from the rats. You're here. You're with friends. We're just trying to help you. Please, just calm down. Calm down.
As you're doing this, the convulsion stops. And for just a brief moment, seems to be back to who she is, or was. And she looks at you, Owen, and she reaches out a hand, and she whispers, The last rites. I'm dying. Please, Father, please. My last rites. Please.
I look at Richard skeptically. Is she... this is devil's work. Is she actually passing away?
I'm immediately trying to give her a physical examination. She'll be fine. I can find a pulse. We can keep her going. And I'm just, as I'm saying this, I'm motioning for Owen and Burn just to keep moving. Whatever happens, just keep moving closer to my father's place. If you can just get it to the table in time.
Richard, you put your ear to her chest. At least you can do that. You don't have a stethoscope, but you've been pretty good at listening to different types of breathing. And you hear something that you are not very happy about. You hear what is starting to become the death rattle. It's a very unique sound. It's a sound that starts, well, before someone dies. It's a sign of the respiratory organs giving out, the body not getting enough oxygen. It's not very audible from where you're standing, Burn, but you can hear it, Richard.
Do I know anything I can do to just keep her breathing for a little longer? Even a maneuver or something? I know I don't have any medication.
You have this overwhelming need to save this girl. You really want to. You know that she's innocent. You know that she doesn't deserve what is coming to her. But you, Richard, you also know that as soon as the death rattling sets in, there's little you can do.
I just start muttering under my breath, saying, Burn, just keep her moving. And I just look Owen dead in the eyes, and even though I want to deny what's about to happen, Owen would know the look.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Oh, and as soon as you mutter those last words, her hand loses the grip in yours. And Richard, you could tell that she's taking her last breath. Burn, she becomes heavy in your arms. This young girl that doesn't weigh anything suddenly seems to weigh a ton of bricks. As she's passed away.
I stop moving.
I just step back, take out my pocket watch. I'm not going to say time of death aloud, but part of my training, muscle reflex, just kicks in, and I'm just noting down the time of death.
Cowan, you are well enough now to see that something is going on.
Carwin, having, for the second time in as many minutes, collected himself, is still going to follow the commotion, especially once Owen drops the rat. He doesn't know any medicine. He's not even particularly religious, but he recognizes Anna, and he recognizes what's going on here. He's slowly approaching, even pauses to take his hat off and hold it up against his chest as he closes those last 5 or 6 steps. Oh my god, what happened here? He's turning to Richard. Was she sick?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. She was having a seizure, but that sort of seizure, it just doesn't... You don't just get a seizure like that for no reason at all. It's probably a pre-existing condition.
Oh, come on, Richard. She was living in a house full of rats. Who knew what she had wrong with her? Who knew what infections she had? We should all get cleaned up. And obviously after we deliver her body to your father to declare everything.
Yes, we'll need to talk to my father. We'll need to get the... Bird, how could John... That's not just been happening for a week or something. If someone had gone to call on her, they'd have noticed.
How far away is his father's facilities?
Not too far.
So it would be reasonable for me to carry her there still?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I start walking, and I say, John seems to have had a fair bit on his hands, just trying to find the missing brother. I'm sure he had his reasons. I don't think anyone could have expected this.
Do you all go to Richard's father?
All I know at this moment is the young woman passed, and I'm going to ascribe that to rat-based origins. At this point, it's curiosity and a bit of self-preservation. If it has to do with the rats that I have breathed in, I'm absolutely going to be there when the doctor explains it. At the very least, I can help convey the body.
I'm not going to be joining the 3 of them at the doctor's. I was not expecting to be greeted with death as soon as I arrived back home. And a part of me needs to go and see my wife and tell her exactly what just happened. Is there a town vet?
It's not a vet, more as a person that knows a lot about cows, sheep, and horses.
A farmer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I will take the rat. They can take the girl, I will take the rat. And I will wander off, muttering to myself, I'm not even bloody Catholic to give it the last rites. She must have been a Catholic, didn't even know she was a Catholic.
I, of course, lead the way to my father's. I am filled with guilt. Another one. There's my father talking about me going to be doctor in London, and I can't even save a young girl like this. I should have brought more stuff with me. Why didn't I think to bring some medication? And I'm just filled with guilt.
I look down at the face of the young girl, try to sweep away some of the hair. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. My boots make a squelching sound from the liquid, whatever it is, that is filling them. There's still a stench surrounding us. But it's distant now that this young woman who could have been my daughter has died.
Cowan, what is going through your head, if anything?
You know, of all the people involved in this, I've actually seen the least, death. There were accidents, of course, in the mines, but certainly nothing like what Richard and Owen had to deal with, or even burn. I understand that mood, but it just feels so profoundly wrong. The rats, of course, but his mind is spinning, putting other weirdness together. At the same time, he kind of knows better than to talk about it. He's not impolite. He knows that this isn't the moment for an interrogation. So, again, helping carry the body back towards the doctor, he casts a look at Byrne. That just enough eye contact to see if there's something to talk about.
I look at you with tired, sad eyes, and I just say, it's all wrong. Were you her friend?
We knew one another. We saw each other around town. I can't say we were close, but... And he hesitates. The phrase that I'm trying to find is, I've never been this close to death like this. And there's a lack of vocabulary I have right now.
And you hear the sound just of the squishing boots. I turn my gaze forward and I look with an empty look in my eyes.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the campaign The Whispers of the Mountains for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. The Whispers of the Mountains was written by Clara Herbal, who was also our keeper. We were joined by Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games, as well as Matthew Dawkins. The music is from the Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep, Yog-Sothoth, Shub-Niggurath, and Asathoth compilations made by our friends at Cryochamber, as well as the Paleo Wolf album Genesis. Check them all out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more music for your gaming table. We'd like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Ludwig Manford, Bob the Lange, and Julián for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Indy Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening. And remember, that is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons, even death may die.